sometimes I browse Instagram and I check out people's profile, and you know how on Instagram you have your name and or your username, and then you have your quote. You can have a quote there, and so some people have like what they do, who they are. Some people put quotes, and there's one quote this person had. Her quote was, "Beliefs does not make you a better person. Your behavior does." All right, so you hear that? Beliefs doesn't make you a better person. Your behavior does. So I'm like, so I guess her belief is that behavior makes you a better person. So you get what I'm saying? So you ever thought about what you actually believe? Because there's this word called superstitious. A lot of people are superstitious. Sometimes they'll say something like, I'm driving off to this place, and I hope, I don't get to an accident, and they'll find some wood and knock on wood, right? So you ever thought, some of the things that people believe or what you believe in, and you think, okay, what's my belief? My belief is if I knock on this wood, hopefully nothing bad will happen. You kind of said something negative, and then you reverse what you just said by knocking on wood, right? And there's a lot of superstitious. If you go to other beliefs or other religions, they'll have a clay model or a clay idol of their particular thing that they worship, right? I don't need to name those idols. If you think about, you make something out of clay or out of wood, and then you pray to it, or you put food in front of it to hope to give you some kind of prosper or blessing or luck. You ever thought about exactly what these people are doing? It's made out of wood, it's made out of clay, and then we're hoping for that created thing to do something good to us, right? And so, same situation in Acts chapter 17. I'm going to read this straight up from the NASB. Acts chapter 17, verse 22. Paul said, "So Paul stood in the midst of the Areopagus and said, 'Men of Athens, I observe that you are very religious in all respects. For a while I was passing through and examining the objects of your worship. I also found an altar with this inscription: to an unknown God. Therefore, what worship in ignorance, this I proclaim to you. The God who made the world and all things in it, since he is Lord of heaven and earth, does not dwell in temples made with his hands.'" So in Athens, it's said that there's probably more gods in Athens than there are people. And so Paul is trying to transition to teach them about who God is, Jesus Christ, and said, "Oh, you guys have a placard that says unknown God. Think about it. You're worshiping something unknown." So some of our belief system are beliefs in something unknown, or what would say superstitious. And so you got to take that focus, and because really, right? Going back to that quote that one lady has, what you believe is how you're gonna behave, right? For her, belief is behavior is what makes you a good person, right? So you do good, you're a good person. You don't do bad, then you're a good person. So her belief is actually behavior makes you a good person. So what your beliefs are is going to control how your life is. And so if you are religious, or you have some kind of beliefs in church or in God, who you put your faith in, your beliefs in, is how you're going to live your life. And so as Christians, we put our faith in Jesus Christ, that he died and rose again to prove that he was God. So he is a God, or a belief system that is alive today, not made out of clay, not made out of wood, not knocking on wood, but someone who is alive and lives within us for those who have faith in him. So what you believe in and or who you believe in is gonna determine your behaviors. So if you put your faith in God, you gotta ask, which God? Even to the point, if you believe in Jesus, which Jesus? The Mormon Jesus, the Catholic Jesus, the Baptist Jesus, the Muslims Jesus? Everyone has a belief in Jesus, but which Jesus do you believe in? Because it's going to determine your eternal destiny. So it's not just believing in Jesus is what saves you. Believing in the biblical Jesus is what saves you. So in John chapter 8, the Jews were like, talking to Jesus, was arguing with Jesus, were like, oh, we believe in Abraham. We believe in Abraham's God. But Jesus said, because they thought that they were going to go to heaven because they believe in God. They were descendants of Abraham. So it's like, okay, we believe in the true and living God. That's what they're trying to claim. But Jesus said, but God sent me. He said, if you don't believe in me, Jesus said, you don't believe in the Father. So if you don't believe in Jesus, he's saying you don't believe in me, your beliefs in God is false. And so you might disagree if you're listening to this and you have different religious background, but I encourage you to read your sources. Where's your source? Where's the source of your belief? You want to know that. We put our beliefs and faith in so many things, athletes, superstars, but you know what? All those people are going to get old. They're no longer going to be superstars. They're going to die. Then you're going to pick another person to put your faith on, your beliefs on. And then they're going to die. But you know what? Who's alive? Jesus. If you're going to put your beliefs, your faith on someone, put it on Jesus. Because he's the person that will never die, that will always be there for you, no matter what. You might not feel that way all the time, but I guarantee you, my belief is in Jesus, and because of those beliefs, that's how I'm going to behave. Amen.